I'll show you how by using a neutral blue like phthalo blue, a cool blue like cobalt blue, and a warm French ultramarine blue, and mix it with a warm and a cool neutral tint. I'm gonna demonstrate to you how you can make a big variety of colors with only 5 tubes of paint. Hello friends, welcome back to the studio once again. I'm Beatrice Fedeli. For today's video, we're going to be talking about blues. With so many to choose on the market, do you need to buy them all? What if I tell you that with 3 blues and a tube of neutral paint, you can have most of the ones that are in the market? Let's get doing anything like me, you end up with a bunch of different tubes of blues, different shades, different colors, and spending a bunch of money. What if I was to tell you that with 3 essential tubes, you can mix all this variety and save a lot of money? I wish I knew this before, and I'm going to pass what I have learned to you. This is a color that is not my favorite. I'm going to be honest with you. The reason for it is because it is a very staining color, meaning it's a very strong color. A little bit goes a long ways. You have to really dilute it, and like I have right here. And at the very beginning, I see how a lot of my students get in trouble because they're not used to yet to get the right amount of water to pigment dilution, and they end up with a very, very strong color. Let me show you. This is light. Let's just put a medium over here, and then we can go, if I go full strength, and oops, see, it's just easy to pick up a lot. Full strength, look how strong it is. The problem with it is like, okay, you can dilute it, no problem. The problem with this color is a very, very staining color. So meaning you cannot lift it. If you make a mistake, then it stays where you have it. And let's just see if I'm gonna have a transition here. And that's why, although many watercolor sets comes with phthalo as the primary blue, I do not recommend to use phthalo as the primary blue as a beginner. Now, does it have a place in your palette? For sure, I have mine here in my palette, as you can see. It's just the wait till you have better understanding of the color, but better control of the water and pigment ratio before you start using it. That will be my advice if you are a completely beginner. Okay, now we're gonna mix this phthalo blue, which, by the way, my phthalo blue, I don't know if I have shown you, is by Core or QOR. Some people say it one way, some people say it the other. And we're gonna start mixing it first with our Schmincke neutral tint, which is a warm neutral tint. Look how pretty it is here with more blue. Okay, this will be perfect for water in the ocean. Then let's go back to the mix of 50-50. This is going to be great for shadows, etc. One of the gorgeous things about phthalo blue, that's why I own it, is because it doesn't granulate. It's a color that is very, very smooth. So it doesn't matter when you put one or the other, it doesn't give you the granulation. No, I don't mind granulation because I like texture, but there are certain things that where you need subjects where you will want it to be flat. Okay, and this color will give you that for sure. You see, if we go with less dilution, more color, then this color here is turning almost into a Payne's gray. Look at that. It for sure has a lot of punch if you want to get whatever, big shadows, do a night sky, etc. Between this dark and lighter, you have a big. So these gorgeous colors is what happens with our phthalo blue mixed with our warm neutral tint, which is the one by Schmincke. Now let's see what happens when we do the same thing with the cool one, Daniel Smith neutral tint. This color reminds me of jeans, you know, for color for jeans. Let's add more blue to this. right here. Wow, look at this. That will be, because it's such a great color. You can make beautiful shadows, especially for tropical leaves or feathers for tropical animals. This will be the perfect shadow because it will still be bright enough. And here was again the half and half neutral and half phthalo blue. Oh wow, look at this. This reminds me of, I don't know if you can see it yet, if not we'll go. This is almost like an indigo color, which, well, we all know what we use indigo for. But the most important thing is that none of these colors will dry dull. Let's see what happens if I put a darker version. By that I mean less water, more concentrated. Look at that. Oh, very, very, very pretty. This is truly an indigo. Let's move on to a different blue. Ultramarine blue by M. Grant. And this is a warm blue. This is a gorgeous blue. It tends to go a little bit more onto the red side, meaning that you can use it to mix gorgeous reds and I mean not reds. If you mix it with red, you can mix pinks, violets, etc. This is a granulated color. It's called granulation, the granulates, because as you can see these specks, I hope that you can see it, they are in the paper, especially if you use it for the skies and you like to do the wet on wet technique where you move the water around. The more you move it, the more it will granulate. Now, I don't mind. Some of the skies, most beautiful skies that I have painted have this color on it, and I don't mind the granulation at all. I think that it adds they add something to the painting. Now, if you don't like it, there are people who don't like it. That's okay. We have other colors for that, including phthalo blue. Now, I'm gonna go with a little bit medium strength and then more full strength here in the corner, like I've been doing with the others. I think that this should be a staple in your watercolor palette. For what I just mentioned, the fact that you can do beautiful mixes, that helps you when you want to create textures, but also as a non-standing color, meaning we can lift it, but it still has a lot. Look, if I go almost full strength, still has a lot of punch to it, so you can make dark with it. The only thing that you have to be a little careful with this color is that if you mix it a lot, if you put a lot of it, a lot of layers, layer after layer after layer, after a while, because it is granulating color, it can become a little chalky. So keep that in mind if you're planning to layer it up. All right, let's see how this one behaves with the, ooh, this reminds me of the Eindhoven blue, which is a gorgeous blue. I like it a lot, but look at this. Now I just found out that I can blend it by myself. And here, let's see how it goes with more blue. And now let's see what happens with very concentrate paint, less water. Let's see now how our French Ultramarine behaves with the Daniel Smith neutral tint. Oh, look at this. This is also a gorgeous color. Look how many blues we can get out of, well, so far 2 tubes of blue plus 2 different neutral tints. If we go everything that we could go from the darkest to the medium to the light and all of them, we have here already, I don't know, easily 10 tubes of different blues. They are in the market. They mix them for you, but number one is a lot of money, but number two, it becomes sometimes confusing which blue you get it. Look how subtle but beautiful blue is getting it with just the hint, okay, of the neutral tint by Daniel Smith. This will do gorgeous, gorgeous shadows. I mean, both of them with more blue or with less. Now let's just see how our dark tone is. Ooh, look at, oh my goodness, gorgeous. I know that I said that this one was reminding me of an indigo, but this is almost in the same family, but brighter. Look at this dark blue. Blue is one of the colors that are very hard to darken. And I have seen many great painters, famous painters, that what they do is that they mix a lot of the blues in order to get one with good strength. But look at this, you can get that. This is with less water. Look how dark you can go here just with the French Ultra and thick neutral tint by Daniel Smith. And let's just do a bit of transition between the metal and the darker ones. Once again, I say we can have a lot more, but this is a gorgeous color. I really like this. We're gonna be trying the cobalt blue. Cobalt blue is a staple. I have it in my palette and use it all the time. It's considered more of a cool. Let's just go a little bit darker. Now it also granulates a little bit, not as much as French Ultramarine does, but it has some granulation. It is considered the one, like when we get the three primary colors, like red, yellow, and blue. The true blue is one that is called cyan, but a lot of people just use cobalt blue as the one that you could lean it onto to make greens, with the yellows and greens, etc. Or if you want to use it to make reds. Now, French Ultramarine will not give you bright greens if you mix them with yellows. This will give you a better range of yellows if you were to mix it with it. All right, so this is, let's get it a little bit thicker, meaning less water. This is cobalt blue for you. This is a gorgeous color. Cobalt blue, how it behaves with our Schmincke neutral tint. This is the lightest one, with it's just enough to kill the brightness, to dull it out a little bit. I love this. This will be great for some shadows. But it still maintains a good, vibrancy. It's not like it's completely dulled out. Let's go to the medium. Oh, beautiful. Look at that. It has more of a gray undertones than the other ones, but they are lovely, subtle but lovely. Beautiful. Okay, so we got the light, we got the medium. Now let's see how it will behave with the darker, less diluted mix. Once again, this is the Schmincke neutral tint. Whoa, look at that. And the Cobalt. Yeah, I like it. For sure it's different than the other two. Let's see how it goes now with more concentrated and less paint. I mean, less water, more paint. Wow, I like it. It's very different than the other one. This reminds me like if I wanted to do a deepen in the water, like a lake, ocean. Sometimes in ceramics, if you're painting, something that is like a plate or something like that, this will be for porcelains and things like that. This will be a gorgeous blue to have. Let's see how it dries. And let's go one more time with in the other direction. Have a bit of a transition. Nice, lovely color for sure. Oh, look at this. A little bit of granulation, but there's a little bit of a granulate in this blue, so No surprises there. Let's see what happens when we do it with the last one, with the Neutral Tint by Daniel Smith. Neutral Tint plus Cobalt Blue. Ooh, look at this. This will be, look at this color. I will already, first thing that comes to my mind is like, I can use this tone, this blue, for like shadows on the snow in a snowy day. Now let's switch to the metal, like 50-50 of each one of them. Nice. I mean, you can still see the blue. I like it because it is a little toned down, but it's not dull, it's not muddy. And it has a good, I can see how it gets big. With this, I can have a good range going from one to the next to the next. And now, let's go full strength. By full strength means less water and the darker ones. Oh, look at this. This will be, I can see like doing glass reflections on this one and the one in the middle. Maybe with this one, it will be like a night. You know those paintings that we do like it's dark at night? It will give us a gorgeous blue. It's not quite an indigo. But we got the indigo with the other, we accomplished with the other blues that color, but this is still, it's not as dark, but it gives us a lot of vibrancy in this blue. I love it, I really do. Okay, so now let's go back to do a little bit of the transition and let this dry, and let's just now see, once all of them have dried, you know, watercolors do dry lighter than when we paint it. We will do the final reflection and see what we think once they all dry. To recap, we tried 3 blues today. We started with the Phthalo blue green shade by Cure or QR. This will be considered a neutral in the fact that it's not a warm or cold color. It is highly staining, and by that, let me show you. If we try to lift, let's wet here in the middle. You will lift some, but it will still be a lot of blue left out. It is a gorgeous colors, especially if you want to do more tropical blues, like in peacocks, feathers, or tropical waters, things like that, skies, and but it will also mix gorgeous greens if you mix it with yellow. Now, the only problem that this one has is because it's so staining, a little bit goes a long ways. You really need to make sure that you dilute this color a lot if you're going to use it by itself before you start making your mix. What happens when we did the Phthalo, when we mix the Phthalo with Neutral Tint by Schmincke, which is a warm neutral tint? Well, we got from the darker to the lighters, we got beautiful grays. They're not dull. They are, I mean, they're dull, but they're not muddy. So they look more like if you want to use it for metal or in a very stormy day. And look at this, making it a full strength. This is a true Payne's gray. You don't really need to go and buy a tube of Payne's gray when you can have it mixed with these two. We also saw what happened if we did the Phthalo with our other neutral tint, the warm neutral tint by Daniel Smith. And look at here. Now we also have beautiful dull out skies. That you can use this for a stormy day, for example. But look at this, in the darker way, instead of having a Payne's gray, this to me looks more like an indigo, which is a color that I love, especially to make shadows, etc. And look at that again. I can save myself, I'm gonna save myself a tube of paint, 2 actually. Once the ones that I have in my palette are gone, I'm not planning on buying another 2. Now, let's move on to the others. Here we got now one of my favorite colors, the French Ultramarine. This, in this case, I used the one that I have from Mgram. I love French Ultramarine because it is a bright, warm blue that I can use, especially I like to use it for like summery skies. And also it makes great grays when you mix them with burnt sienna and other colors. Also gray magentas, gray pinks when it's mixed with red. And it is, although it is staining, look at this, it is semi. So if I go about the same amount as I did for the phthalo, and then I go with this, I can lift quite a bit more. I don't know if you can see. You lift a little bit, it's pretty blue. This one is a lot more, you will get a lot more lifting. The only problem that you can have with this is that some people shy away is because it is a granulated blue. So it granulates, especially when you move it. If sometimes when I do a wet on wet washes and I tilt my board in order to move the water, then you get more and more granulation. Now, let me get you into a secret. There is one French Ultramarine by Schmincke. It's called Ultramarine Finest. I found out that this gives you a very similar tone, but this one will not granulate as much. If that's something that it bothers you, the granulation, then by all means give this one a try. As you can see, I've also been using quite a bit of it. As you can see, when we mix the French Ultramarine with that Schmincke neutral tint, which again is the warm neutral tint, we end up with lovely blues, muted. The only thing that I don't like too much is when I went full strength with less diluted paint. I feel like it got a little clumpy. So for these ones, I will stay more like with more water to paint ratio. But I think that they will give me a good color too. This will be good for doing night skies, etc. We get the same color, the French Ultramarine, but this time with our neutral tint by Daniel Smith. Look at this. This is gorgeous blues, okay? Gorgeous blues, like for a night. But look at this, between this and this, I think that I will go with this one. It's less clumpy, and I can see the luminosity still coming through, even though it's a dark color. And you can appreciate the blue that is there. Again, I can use this for exactly the same things that I will use this. French Ultramarine is a very nice color to mix with reds, like I said, to get good violets and violets, magentas, etc. So mix that color mixed with neutral tint, like I did here, it will give me great shadows that it will still be in the same family of the flowers that I was making. So I really like this. And finally, we have our cobalt blue. A cobalt blue will be considered a blue that is more on the cool side. So this is warm. This will give us great reds, magentas, etc. But it will not give us the greatest greens, especially if you want them bright. Now, on the other hand, with this one, you can get gorgeous greens. And you can also get very decent yellow. Mixed with red, you can also get pretty decent pink. I'm gonna come over here. This is a color that is very easy to lift. Probably out of the three, I think that this is the one that I was able to get it more to the white area. You can see it. But nevertheless, it's light fast, means that it will not fade away. All of these colors, by the way, are light fast. They will not fade away by being exposed to light. And if you make a painting, you want your colors to be able to do that, because you're not gonna keep your paintings in a drawer. Hopefully you will display them so they will receive light. And you want it to be light fast, meaning that they will continue to hold the color against the light. And then when we mix it with the neutral tint by Schmincke, look at this. I like this a little bit different than that. Gorgeous. It was a little bit of separation between the two colors here. Let me close up so that you can see it. Let's see it right here. I don't know if you can fully appreciate it. It's a slightly difference here, which gives like a halo. I love these things when this happens, especially when I do shadows and I want to create some texture. So I actually love this. It happens a little bit when I do the mixes with French Ultramarine and burnt sienna, but this is something that it was surprising and to me, and I really like it. And this pale, on the pale side over here, look how subtle and lovely this is with the little bit of the granulation. Lovely, lovely. And when I get it, when I went all the way full strength, like with more pigment, less water, this behaved really, really nice. I would probably use this for a night sky over this other one here, which I know you can see it, because this one was a little bit more clumpy. That's the only part that I didn't like on the French Ultramarine. I like all these other things, and I like the ones with the Daniel Smith. But anyway, we're talking about the Cobalt Blue and Neutral Tint, so beautiful, beautiful. And our final swatch is the Cobalt Blue that we did with the Neutral Tint by Daniel Smith. Our cooler Neutral Tint with our Cool Blue. Look at this, nothing cool. I mean, cool in the fact that it's nice, but it still has a lot of vibrancy, transparency, and I think this is gorgeous. From the light color, this one, I noticed that when I use, you can see them both side by side, when I mix my Cobalt Blue with the Neutral Tint by Daniel Smith, or when I use it with the Neutral Tint by Schmincke, the Daniel Smith granulated less. You can see more granulation here and more smooth over here. So if it is something that you need to keep that in mind, like when you are making, say that you were painting, I don't know, a porcelain, a cup, a plate, then you may want more smooth things, or even if you want to use it for portrait, then most definitely go with the Neutral Tint by Daniel Smith, that it will give you less granulation than here. And why can I use it? Same things apply. You can use it for that as for anyway, this. Let me know what you think about this video. This is the one of the series of the 3 primary colors blue. What do you think? Pretty amazing. If you have different blues in your palette, no need to go and buy new ones. But if some of them are different and you have a good combination, put it in the comments so we all can learn from each other. And if you like what you've seen, subscribe to the channel. And as always, I will see you in my next video.